Hello. So I'm thinking about a time in my life, it was really like during and after my divorce when I realized I really wanted to get my head straight and understand how to heal and how to change my life, given that I was on my own and I had to recreate myself. And so, how does a person do that? I didn't feel like I had a great set of roadmaps or instructions from anybody else. Even though I did know other people who are divorced, I just didn't feel like their situation fit mine or their wants and needs fit my wants and needs. So anyway, I was thinking back to what were the things that really made it, or what were the realizations that made a difference? What did I notice? What helped? And um, one thing I started to notice was that in my head, thought wise, and also in terms of the thoughts that drive actions, there was like this little grid, this little square room that I lived in. And I don't know if this mirrors, I can't remember if this mirrors it backwards or if you can see the words the way they really are. But in this room in my head, I lived between want, don't want, should do, like I should do this, or I need to do this, or I'm supposed to do this, or I'm obligated to do this, or if I don't do this, somebody will die or whatever. And then so should do and should not do. Like I definitely should not do whatever this is. And definitely don't want this, but I do want this and I should do this. So in this little grid, it's like I just, like a little pinball machine. It was like this little ball just pinging back and forth, amongst these corners in this room. And I realized that it wasn't enough. This way of thinking wasn't enough. I felt, I had this phrase that was in my head, like a caged lion, which is a weird phrase to have in your head. I don't know why I was a lion, but it's just the way my brain showed it to me. Your brain, part of your brain will speak to you in pictures, metaphors, things other than words sometimes. So I had this thing, this image of a caged lion, or the metaphor of a caged lion. I guess, maybe if I think back on it, it means the last thing that should be in a tiny cage is a lion. Like it's this big wild animal. It definitely belongs in the wild. But anyway, but I think this was really the cage I was in my head. And so what I began to do by reading certain books, and, I meditated a lot, and, just started doing certain things. I went to yoga a lot. I walked a lot. I really moved my body. And then when I wasn't moving my body, I was meditating. When I wasn't doing that, I was really paying attention to what I was putting into my body, food and drink wise. And kind of followed some little protocols that I thought would probably help me. And then through all that, I started to realize that I needed to find a doorway out of this. So what was the doorway? And I knew the should do's hadn't worked for me. Like I'm obligated to, I should do this. That had not worked for me. Should not do had not worked for me either. Because sometimes should not do is like this. It's like I should not eat that cookie. I should not eat that cookie. I should not buy that pair of shoes. And sometimes should not do's actually win. They like pull you in. They suck you into their vortex. Sometimes don't wants. It seems like you can be so fearful about what you don't want that it seems to attract it almost into your life. So I was scared of don't wants. I was scared of should not do's. I didn't want those in my head anymore. And I didn't want should do's, although I understood, like the older you get, the more obligations you have, the more responsibilities you have. So, I'm not saying that I wanted to escape all responsibility. In fact, I wanted to be more responsible, but in a way that was also grounding and fulfilling for me, that allowed me space to heal and grow in whatever way I needed to heal and grow. So I was kind of left with want. want, what does that mean? I mean, sometimes it's like, I want a puppy, or sometimes it's, I want the cookie, or I want that new dress, or I want that cute piece of furniture to decorate my home. Sometimes they're wants like that, but when you can kind of make a list of those wants and then just kind of set them aside for a minute, it's like, what else do you want? Like, if you can't solve it by buying it, like, what else do you want? If there's no immediate fix, like immediate boost in mood from buying the dress or buying the piece of furniture or getting the puppy, what else do you want in life? What do you really want? And I know from coaching, hundreds of people, that's a real stumper. Once you get beyond those immediate, like, instantaneous highs, like a puppy or a new pocketbook or something, or a new car, the wants can start to fade, and then you're left with, I don't know what I want. And it's a really weird feeling to get to that kind of precipice and realize, after, adopting a puppy and buying the dress or whatever, getting the cookie, what do I want? I don't know. But there's a way that I learned to connect to myself better so that I could listen a little bit more to the quiet voice that tells you what you want, shows you what you want, helps you understand what you want. And when I learned to listen to that quiet little voice, because sometimes it's really quiet, because of all the other noise in here, in this crowded room in your head, all of this noise, and then like the more surfacey ones are noisy. So to hear underneath it what you really, really want can be more challenging sometimes. And it takes some cultivation, because I think so many adults are like me. And I've seen it, I've seen evidence of it, that we all kind of bounce around between these things. And we get trapped here. And so the doorway out was over here, but only through listening to that quiet, like the whispery ones, and learning how to connect to that more completely and more consistently. So that's really how I began to heal, how I began my journey forward. And it really does work.